It wouldn't be another Dubai conversation without, again, another conversation about real estate. And our next guest is the COO of Leos for Middle East and Africa. Leos are a renowned luxury property developer. They established in the UK in 2012, and now they're expanding into the Middle East. They've recently announced their very first development in JVC, with many of the buyers coming from outside the UAE. But to talk about this and also how they're looking to work within Dubai's 2040 vision and shaping the future skyline of Dubai is the COO, Mark Gaskin. Thank you very much for coming into the studios.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
How was your very first National Day long weekend in the UAE?
It was lovely, very relaxed. As you said, it foreshortens the week ahead, so there's many advantages to it.
I think you'll fit in just nicely.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's the vibe. You've come here, and obviously we can't do a business show each day without talking about real estate, because there's always a booming factor. But I'm fascinated by what made you specifically say now is the right time for Leos to move into the Middle East space.
Right, well, we came over here originally 14 months ago. I came over with the CEO quite suddenly. He asked me to come over and just really have a look at the market. We spent some time. I was here originally for 4 to 5 weeks. We basically worked every day. We visited every developer. We looked at a lot of buildings. We wanted to see if there was a gap in the market for what we had to offer, and yes, we came to the conclusion that there was.
There is. You just got to find one that doesn't leak.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, when we looked at the quality of the builds here, we felt that we could do better. Mm-hmm. Than the vast majority of developers that were here at the moment. Not saying all of them, but the vast majority.
And one of the big investment, the luxury developments you're working on is JVC. Now, this is what's really piqued my interest, because everyone talks about downtown and the Palm and Jebel Ali and the Jebel Ali Palm, whatever. What is it about JVC that you at Leos found attractive?
Well, I'm going to pick you up on the first part of that question, that being the adjective luxury.
Yes.
So, to a degree, I don't consider us a luxury developer. I consider us a quality developer. I think the word luxury is, vastly overused in Dubai with regard to a description of a building, description of a build. We produce a quality building. We produce a building that's got longevity, sustainability. So it's a case of, I've asked many people over here to give me a definition of luxury, and there's been varying answers from the building not leaking to Eddie Saab to whatever. So I consider us to be a quality developer. We've also launched a project in Dubai Land. Weybridge is the name of Weybridge Gardens is the name of the project, which is very well priced. Now, whether we launch a project in Dubai Land or we launch it on the Palm, we still deliver the same quality. You might not have a Gaggenau kitchen, you might not have a Villeroy-Bosch toilet, but you will have a quality product, and more importantly, installed to a standard that we would expect in the UK.
Now, you mentioned that, you're looking for a gap in the market, and this market is as varied as it gets, from, absolute pocket-friendly areas like maybe, say, International City and Silicon Oasis to the Palms of the world. Where did you, and what was that gap that you probably tapped on and said, this is where Leos needs to enter?
I think, as I said to you, that I consider us to be an international developer, not categorizing ourselves as a luxury developer or any sort of developer. I think what we do, as I said, we categorize ourselves as a quality developer, and we felt that, with most developments across the board, we felt we could develop from Dubai Land to the Palm and deliver a product that was had the same quality finishes, the same longevity, more so than we thought most developers over here. So we're not looking at where we're developing; we're looking at how we're developing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's my vision anyway.
And when you look at a lot of the international buyers, whether they're coming from Europe or the United Kingdom or Asia, what is the one thing that they're skeptical about? Where is that gap in their information that perhaps prevent them from wanting to actually make a purchase that you need to bridge the gap? What are they most concerned about?
Well, I think they're very concerned about their investment from the point of view of the safety of their investment. Is the product going to get finished? And I guess, unfortunately, the cases in the past that buildings have started, off-plan sales have gone ahead, people have invested, and they haven't received the product they've been promised they were going to receive. So, when they always talk about USPs and they talk about what you're going to get in the building, and we're going to put a pool in your balcony, we're going to do this, that, and the other. We've got two USPs. Our USP is to deliver what we say we deliver and deliver it on time. This is what we do everywhere else we work. So it's not a stretch for us to do that. That's our normal policy. That's normally what we do. So we feel that that's all it's going to take.
Now, while you mentioned about giving in with these two USPs of yours, delivering on time and delivering what is promised, there are multiple marketing strategies. I wouldn't want to use the term gimmicks. I want to use the term strategies that developers here in this part of the world are using, from the swimming pools in your own balcony in every apartment to, a 1% plan or just walk in with the 70,000 dirhams in your hand and start living in and start paying after 20 years that you lived in the house. All of that drama aside, how does a developer who's created a good product then go out in the market trying to break clutter and say, hey, you know what? I've honestly got you a good house.
Well, I think the proof is in the eating, isn't it? I said, we're going to deliver a number of projects by 2025. I think, obviously, being an international developer, we've developed in a few different countries now.
Right.
And we've delivered on time and to the quality that we've said. When you see, for example, our experience centre, you can see the professionalism with which we work. We've put together a team of, I think it's now 112 people that we've got in-house.
Wow.
Including, so for example, when you have a situation where you have a site supervision team from a consultant, we have an in-house site supervision team. I've also brought over our quality and process manager from the UK full-time, so he will be watching the build all the way through. Another thing we do in the UK, when I was in the UK, I used to visit site. I was construction director over there, so I used to visit the sites. I spent most of my time visiting the sites. So I personally snag the sites. I expect all directors and senior management to spend time in the buildings when they get to a certain point, obviously, to make sure we're delivering what we say we're going to deliver.
So you obviously come from an engineering and a building background.
Yes, project management.
Project management. Well, when it comes to working with the international buyers, here in the UAE, COP28 is making worldwide headlines.
Yes.
When you're seeing the level of VIPs that are here, and it's always talking about how businesses are wanting to be more sustainable. Is sustainability really a factor when it comes down to foreign investors that are looking for real estate opportunities?
I think more so recently. I think, yes. I think, there's always been the story that was almost, sustainability and environmental factors are kind of abstract. But now it's every day. It's in front of you. It's on the news. It's on television. There's a lot of spokespersons out there for it. It's been taken up on a more senior political level across the world. I think, even from the point of view of the small things that you can put in the buildings to promote sustainability. And I do think that people are more aware. People are more aware of the damage we have done, and they're understanding there's generations coming after us, and we need to protect it from them. I do think that, there is a conscience there. Yeah. There's a conscience that perhaps wasn't there 30, 40, 50 years ago, but the conscience is there now. So whilst it's not gone as far as it should have gone, I think it's there's an increase in that awareness and an increase in the desire to be sustainable. And I think as a developer and certainly and people within the development industry and other industries, it's our responsibility to give people the opportunities to be able to be more sustainable.
Right. As a developer, you said that you've developed properties across the globe, multiple countries. Yeah. Every country has its own dynamics, own social, cultural setups. At some places, it is probably challenging to find a property, find a land to actually build up a building, right? And in some places, you've set up a beautiful structure, but then it's slightly difficult to sell. What are the challenges that you see in this market, or probably is this market slightly easier than some of the others that you worked in?
Okay, so I'll answer that from two points of view. From the point of view of the say development and construction side of it, it's easier.
Okay.
If you think about it, the Sheikh Mohammed has wants us to build a city and to contribute towards a city. So he's behind us. He affords us as much help as they possibly can
Nice.
to build, which I think is wonderful. For example, if you work in the UK, to get to the point of through planning can take up to 2 years.
Wow.
Here it's like 3-4 months. It's a case
Incredible.
of the political desire is there for us to build the city, and in line with his vision for 2040, almost doubling the population. So again, with almost doubling the population, it's not just high net worth individuals you got to build for. There's always a pyramid. There's always a structure below that. So,
Exactly, yeah.
as I say, and that's why I don't class us as just a luxury developer. We can develop all the way across the landscape in Dubai, and that's what we're after.
But is that also part of the attraction as being a developer here? Because you mentioned off before the interview that you're in Australia. Coming from Australia as well, when there's a development, there's so many rules and regulations. You've got to make sure there's enough left-handers that are taking part in the building, and there's equality, and there's sustainability, and this kind of that. And you forget about the greater good, which is quality properties for a growing city.
Yeah. Well, what I do think, clarity and transparency are very important, and I think it's provided here.
Yeah.
I think there's a process. You follow the process, and you're good.
Well, if you do,
it's very straightforward.
well, we thank you for coming in. We know it's a busy time for you. You've been injured a few times, so you've had
Absolutely.
have a couple of misfires.
Yeah,
We're fortunate enough to get you in. If you do want to see the website, you can see some of those developments at leosdevelopments.com. There you can see the project that's currently going on. It's a JVC, but Mark Gaskin, the COO of Leos across the Middle East and Africa, we do appreciate you coming in, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
TSB, Talk Sport Business on Talk